Russia and Ukraine are at war today, but they were once under the same government ruled by a single authority. So what really happened in the last 70 years that led to the rise and fall of the USSR? To understand this, we need to dive into the land's history. About 1400 years ago, this whole region was known as Kyiv Rus. The land was inhabited by Eastern Slavs and faced a series of attacks by ruthless Viking tribes. And just like now, the rule of Kyiv Rus was also vying for Kiev. Ambitious Oleg of the Viking tribe shifted his attention towards Kiev and established a new Kievan state. He considered Kiev to be the mother of Russia's cities. Even today, Belarus, Russia and Ukraine consider Kyiv Rus to be their cultural ancestor and derive their name from that. The city of Kiev was thriving under Vladimir the Great. The oldest known ruler of the land was also called Vladimir, and Prince Yaroslav I the Wise, who were the successors of Oleg. But in the 13th century, attacks by Mongols devastated Kiev and left the city in ruins. The center of power then shifted to Moscow, where the Russian Orthodox Church helped in defeating the Mongols. After this began the rule of the Tsar dynasty, and in 1547, Ivan the Terrible declared himself as the first Tsar of Russia. Then in 1914, World War I broke out. The Russian ruler Tsar Nicholas II fought against Austria and Hungary. In 1916 to 1917, a severe famine broke out, and by 1917, 17 lakh soldiers were killed. This fueled public anger against the Tsar regime. On a winter day of March 7, 1917, hungry people revolted on the streets. They stormed the shops and looted bread. On March 27th, following the public agitation, workers and soldiers gathered to form the Soviet at the Russian parliament called Duma. Soviet is a Russian word meaning council or assembly. The Bolshevik Revolution gave rise to Lenin. He dreamt of an egalitarian society and laid the foundation of a classless society. This communist revolution of Lenin was inspired by the ideas of socialism. The visionary Lenin merged Ukraine, Belarus and the far-flung states of Caucasus region with Russia and established the USSR on the 30th December 1922. But it wasn't until Mikhail Gorbachev became the president of the USSR that the country moved towards the principles of democracy. He brought in principles of transparency, but the public opinion began to split regarding Gorbachev. Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania started demanding for separate nations. The disintegration of the USSR was not the result of any single event. The fall of the Berlin Wall, public sentiment against Gorbachev and the Cold War resulted in demand for independent nations across the Soviet Union. On 8th of December 1991, a Belavezha agreement was signed between Russia, Ukraine and Belarus, which led to their separation. Fast forward to 2022, Russia has invaded Ukraine. Putin said that in the last 1,000 years, Russia has strayed away from what the ancestors had envisioned, and this could be his attempt at regaining lost empire.